Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Suzanne. My name is Whitney, and it is time for another round of Once Upon a TBR Hunny Jar. My rating round went fantastic. I read all the books except one, but it is May 18th when I'm filming this, and that one book I'm starting tonight, and it's just barely over 300 pages. So I will for sure finish that one. And so, yeah, it was a success. I get a reward token, which I'm very excited about because I don't have any currently. And that just allows me to forego a honey jar prompt if I so choose. So let's go ahead and run through the books from last month. So first up, of course, our character, we had Pooh, and for that, it's either a comfort or a classic or a comfort read. And I went with And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison for this one. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's my favorite B.K. Borison as far as character and story wise goes. There's just a few things that needed some editing, and oops, sorry, I didn't mean to kick you guys. It needed some editing, and there was a situation in there that I just don't think the author did justice to, and I wish she hadn't included that. So that was for that. Then we got a free pick. So we got a bookworm, which was a free pick. And for this one, I chose The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. And this one, I think I gave it 3 stars if I'm remembering right. But I was so hopeful. I thought it was a 5-star prediction, and it just fell a little short for me. The author definitely made some choices that just didn't really work for me. The balance was really off in it, but I did like the story, and the author did really pull me into it. So there was that one. Then we had, let's see here, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Sorry, I can't see if it's, there we go. I'm holding it wrong and my arm was blocking. So Goldilocks and the Three Bears. For this one, I went with Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, which is the 3rd book in the Hunger Games trilogy. I had read the first 2 in April and absolutely loved them, flew through them, and I wanted to finish it up, and so I read that and absolutely loved it as well. Then let's see here, next up, we got a bookworm, and it was spring themed. This was supposed to be like it was blue, so it was supposed to be sci-fi, and I didn't really have like spring themed sci-fi, so I went based off the cover, and I chose Annie Bot by Sierra Greer, which I gave 5 stars. I absolutely love that one. I think it's a great book to read with like a book club because there's a lot of discussion, specifically like a women's book club, but of course men can join in if they so choose. But it's really geared towards women, and I really love that one. So there is that. Then we got Rabbit, and it was not my garden, because Tigger's always coming through and destroying Rabbit's garden. So for this one, I went with the book that I haven't read yet, which I will start tonight, and that is Love is a War Song by Danica Nava. And the first book I read by this author was their debut, and there were some issues with it, but I think it was more because of the premise than anything. So I'm really looking forward to giving them another try. And like I said, that will 100%. I'm starting it tonight. I should finish it tomorrow sometime. So there's that one. Then the next one was another blue, so another sci-fi. And we got Pinocchio, which was father and son. I used a reward token for this. So I used my last reward token, but I earned a reward, so I will be keeping a hold of this to use in the future. And so for this one, it just needed to be a sci-fi, and I went with Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. And that one I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed that one as well. There's just some things with the writing that I didn't fully comprehend. So there's that one. And then let's see here. Our final poll was The Big Bad Wolf, so it needed to be an anti-hero. And I went with Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerri Maniscalco for this. and I gave that 4 stars. I love the vibes. Again, just a few issues here and there that it wasn't a fully 5 stars, but I really enjoyed my time with that, and I can't wait. I'm hoping to get the next book on this TBR, so we'll have to see. And then I did have one unusable disc. So for that, I chose What Fury Brings by Trisha Levenseller. I think it's supposed to be a series, but there's not a lot of information on the second book yet. I think it comes out potentially in 2027, so we'll just have to see. But regardless, it's the first book in the series, if it is. And I think it ends on, yeah, it ends on page 351, so it ends in a 1 as well. And absolutely love that one. 5 stars for that. Trisha Levenseller, that author, their writing just really hits the mark for me. And this was her first adult book. And so, yeah, I had a great time with that. And so that was my game. Like I said, I still have to read Love is a War Song. That's not going to be a problem. So I got my reward. There's a couple books I am hoping to get on this TBR, but of course, we'll talk about them after if I'm going to add them on as extras if they don't work into the game TBR. But I'm very hopeful. May was fantastic. I like that the game was really super nice to me. I'm hoping we'll have another great round. And yeah, let me get you guys turned around to the game board and we will see what it has in store for me. All right, so again, we still have my reward token that we can use to forgo a honey jar prompt if we so choose. Then just a reminder, let's start with the genres actually. So if we land on a blue, that is a sci-fi. Yellow is historical, green is fantasy, red is romance, orange is mystery, thriller, horror. Purple is any genre, and I do not need to pull a honey jar prompt. It's a completely free pick. And if I land on a block, I move forward 3 spaces using that genre, and I have to pull 2 honey jar prompts. Then, as far as our character goes, 1 is Christopher Robin, which is a coming of age or middle grade. 2 is Pooh Bear, which is a classic or comfort read. We did get Pooh Bear last month, so if I roll him, I can choose to re-roll. 3 is Piglet, which is an auto by author or reread. 4 is Rabbit, which is a free choice. 5 is Owl, which is a memoir, biography, or any type of nonfiction. 6 is Tigger, which is lighthearted or fast-paced. 7 is Eeyore, which is literary or dystopian. And 8 is Kinga and Rue, which is a manga, graphic novel, or children's book. So let's go ahead and roll for our character first, see who we're going to get. 3 is Piglet, so an auto by author or a reread. So there is that. Let me get this all set up and we'll get to pulling. All right. See what we're starting with. And just a reminder, we do move 2 spaces for each color other than purple or black. Just moves us around the board a little bit faster. This one. All right, we're starting off with a green, so not very far. But we need a fantasy that fulfills the prompt of, let's do this one. Okay, a fantasy, see if I can get to focus. I always struggle with this part. A fantasy that is a feel-good book. This is Winnie the Pooh. So, all right, up next. All right, another fantasy, another green. Then we go 1, 2. And another fantasy. I'm not mad about that. Fantasy is probably one of my most read genres. And we'll go down here somewhere. Okay. Oh, I got the perfect book for this. This is Dumbo. No, I did not want to focus. It is Dumbo. It's a circus. Does not want to focus. Circus setting. All right. See what we're going to get next. Might be a fantasy month. See this one? Okay, blue for sci-fi. So we go 1 and 2. So we need a sci-fi that fulfills the prompt of, see this one? Oops. Drop that. Okay. So this is a bookworm and it's read once, need more. Not focusing. And this one is, there we go. This one I actually got from Chris at, I want to say Chris's Reading Corner, but it'll be linked down below. They have this as one of their prompts, which I absolutely love. So, all right. Let's see here. Okay, a red romance, and 1 and 2, which allows us to cross the bridge. So, because we got to cross the bridge, it's a special square, so it actually does not need to be a romance. It just needs to fulfill the prompt of this one. Okay, this is a fun one. Let me. So this is same book as Last Person. So basically, I was inspired by like the drive-through videos where they ordered the same food as the last person. So I just gotta go to the bookstore and ask what the last person bought that they can remember and get that book. All right, let's see here. This one, another fantasy, another green, and go 1, 2. And let's see what we got here. So a fantasy that fulfills the prompt of, okay, this is featured in a show or movie. All right. Keep moving along here. Okay, we got our orange, which does not move us very far. We go 1, 2, and that's a mystery, thriller, or horror that fulfills the prompt of so this is Moonlit Lake. This is the Swan Princess. Okay. Two stuck in my hand. Okay. Yay, a purple. Gets us here, and that is a completely free choice. All right, we're getting really close to the end. If we get a red or blue, we're completely done, which will be nice. But we'll just have to see what we get here. This one? All right, perfect. That is a blue, of course, which is a sci-fi. And go 1, 2. That gets us to the North Pole, which means it does not need to be a sci-fi. It can be any genre, because the North Pole is a special square. And let's do this one. This one. Ooh, okay, I like this one. So it is. Let's see. Something. Focus. There you go. Favorite or random color? Because I don't always have a favorite color, so it's a favorite or random color. So I'm going to get my books chosen and I will be back to show you what I pick. All right, we are back. Took me a little bit to figure out what I was going to read. Some of the prompts were easier than others, but I'm really pleased with the stack that I have gotten. So let's go ahead and see what I'm reading. So first up, of course, we rolled Piglet, which is a auto-by author or a reread, and one of my main auto-by authors comes out with a book at the end of May, and so definitely going to be reading that in June. Let's see if I can get it out here. And so this is not the book because it doesn't release. I'm filming this. It releases in like 8 days, so a week. It releases, and I do have it pre-ordered. But Nora Roberts, I buy every book. I have every book she's published. And so, yeah, this was her last one last year because in May she does like a romantic suspense. And then in November, she generally releases part of a series. So this was the last one. Didn't love this one, but I'm really intrigued by her newest release, which is The Final Target. Basically, we have this author and this guy shows up at a meet and greet, and he keeps showing up at her meet and greets. And she agrees to go to have coffee with him, and things take a sinister turn. So hopefully it's better than what she's been putting out. Still my favorite author. I still just, there's just like a nostalgic comfort that comes from reading Nora Roberts because I've been reading her since I was a teenager. So while this is not the book it's a placeholder, and I'm really looking forward to the final target. And I'm just crossing my fingers that's better than what she's been doing. I think she needs to semi-retire, if not retire fully. I don't want her to retire fully because I still really enjoy reading what she writes, but what she's been putting out hasn't been the greatest lately. So we'll see how it goes with the new one that's coming out. Then we have another placeholder. So we got Green, which is, of course, fantasy. And we got Pooh Bear, which is a feel good book. And first, like, my brain just would not engage. I was like, what am I going to do? Fantasy that's feel good. And then it hit me. So for Aurelium, I read Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. This was the Archivist Guild choice, and finally got around to reading it. I've read some other T. Kingfisher, really enjoy the writing, and it is feel good. Like, there's this coziness here. And so I'm going to be reading the second book, which is Paladin's Strength. I have the other 3 books in the series. I've ordered them. They actually should be here sometime this week. So this is just placeholding until that one gets here. But yeah, I'll be reading Paladin's Strength. So basically, you're following these paladins. I don't remember which paladin is in the second one. And you're following them, and they lost their god. And so, like, there's not very many of these paladins left that were under that god. And they've gone to the Temple of the White Rat, who doesn't have paladins, and they're kind of staying there. And so there's 4 different paladins that we're following. And so, yeah, looking forward to seeing the next paladin story because I really love this one. So there's that. Then we got another green, so another fantasy. And for this one, we got Dumbo, which is circus setting. Um, I have several actually that would have worked, but there was one that's like top of the list that I've been wanting to read for a while. And that's The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This has been on my shelf for a long time, and I have yet to read it, so I'm excited to finally be able to get to it. This one says the circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. Is simply there when yesterday it was not. Within the black and white striped canvas tents is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazements. It is called Le Cirque des Rêves, and it is only open at night. But behind the scenes, a fierce competition is underway, a duel between 2 young magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. Unbeknownst to them, this is a game in which only one can be left standing. Amidst the high stakes, Celia and Marco soon tumble headfirst into love, setting off a domino effect of dangerous consequences and leaving the lives of everyone from the performers to the patrons hanging in the balance. So I can't wait to finally read that. It's been way too long. Then we got a blue, which is a sci-fi, and we got the prompt, read once, need more. And I got this, like I said, from Chris at Chris's Corner. They have it as one of their prompts, and I just thought it was a fun prompt. This one was hard, and so I am stretching it a little bit. So, of course, if you've been following along, you know my husband and I are on the Dungeon Crawler Carl fan train. This is the 7th book, This Inevitable Ruin. The 8th book is out and it's on its way. Now, I've read 7 books, but he also released the beginning of May a standalone that's not part of the series. So that's what I'm going to be reading. It's called Operation Bounce House. And I was kind of on the fence, like, do I want to read it? I love Carl so much. Like, do I want to read it? But I need more. I need more. And so when I ordered the 8th book, I asked my husband, like, do you want to go ahead and get his standalone that just came out? He's like, yeah. So we'll be reading Operation Bounce House in June. And he also reads the Nora Roberts releases with me. And then, of course, we'll have the 8th book of Dungeon Call Carl. So we're going to be doing a lot of reading together in June for sure. But yeah, Operation Bounce House, because I've only read from this author in this series. So I'm going to get more of this author from a standalone book. So that's how I'm kind of tweaking it to fit my needs. But I'm really looking forward to reading Operation Bounce House as well and see if I really just love the author's writing or if it's really just Carl and Donut that I'm obsessed with. We'll find out. Then I got a red, but we crossed the bridge, so that means it's a special square. So it does not need to be a romance, but it was a bookworm in the same book as Last Person. So this prompt is inspired by I love watching the when the people order the same food as the last person at like drive-throughs and such. I can't do that. I have allergies, so I was like, how can I make it bookish? Here's the thing, it's summer and I really struggle in the summertime. The heat, the bugs, like I struggle a lot in the summertime. And so I really didn't feel like going in like down to the bigger city into the store. Like I want to stay home when it's summer. So what I did, I also kind of stretched this one a little bit. I went and looked up recent book hauls. And it actually worked out because 3 hours ago, Tori Talks posted a book haul. And so I watched that book haul. Now, the book I went with, she didn't actually buy. Um, Somebody gifted it. So, but it is one I'm very interested in, and it's part of the haul. So I'm going with it. And that's A Winter's Promise by Christelle Davos. And this has been again on my shelves for quite a while now. I do have the second book in the series as well. It's translated from French, and I've just been very intrigued by this. So it was gifted, but it was part of the haul, so I'm counting it. And yeah, I can't wait to read this one. There was a couple others. Two of them I would have had to buy. One of them would have been a reread and starting a series that I'm just not quite ready to dive into yet. So when I saw this one, I was like, perfect. So it says Ophelia possesses two special gifts: a talent for seeing into an object's past and the ability to travel through mirrors. Her peaceful existence on Anima is interrupted when she's promised in marriage to the taciturn Thorn, a member of a powerful clan from a cold and distant Ark. Upon in a dangerous game that will have far reaching consequences for her entire world, Ophelia must navigate the lies and machinations of her fiance's clan in order to survive in this first installment of the internationally best-selling Mirror Visitor series. So I can't wait to finally get to this, and I do have the second book. So if I enjoy that, that will be good. Then we have, let's see here, another green, so another fantasy and bookworm featured in a show or movie. Now, this is not an adaptation. This is like think the Gilmore Girls list, where it's in the show or movie. And I was trying to find something that was not off the Gilmore Girls list, but none of them really were fantasy. So I went back to the Gilmore Girls list, and I'm going to finally be reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I've never actually read this. The movie, like the Disney movie, and even like the live action films, are not my favorite. So I've never read it. But now's the time, and I'll probably read through The Looking Glass as well. All in total for both books is 240 pages. So most likely I'll just read both of them, but for the game purposes, I'm only required to read Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And so, of course, most people should know what this is about, but just in case, you have a very real little girl named Alice follows a remarkable rabbit down a rabbit hole and steps through a looking glass to come face to face with some of the strangest adventures and some of the oddest characters in all literature. The crusty Duchess, the Mad Hatter, the Weeping Mock Turtle, the Diabolical Queen of Hearts, the Cheshire Cat, Tweedledum, and Tweedledee. Each one is more eccentric and more entertaining than the last, and all of them could only have come from the pen of Lewis Carroll, one of the few adults ever to enter successfully the children's world of make-believe, a wonderland where the impossible becomes possible, the unreal real, where the heights of adventure are limited only by the depth of imagination. So I'm excited to finally get to that one as well. Then let's see here. We have Orange, which is mystery thriller horror, and we got the Swan Princess, which was Moonlit Lake. So just thinking body of water, light shining off of it. It doesn't have to specifically be the moon. And for this one, I'm going with The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. I read The Devil in the Dark Water and the other one, I'm blanking on the name of it. But I read those and I actually really enjoyed both of them. So I was just trying to see if I could see it on my shelves, but I don't see it. I don't know what it was called. But anyway, so I found this at, I think, a little free library, maybe a thrift store. So excited to find it. And I'm going to be reading it. It definitely sounds very intriguing and interesting. And you can see the water with the light shining off of it. So it deals with like an island and such. So it says, outside the island, there's nothing. The world was destroyed by a fog that swept the planet, killing anyone it touched. On the island, it is idyllic. 122 villagers and 3 scientists live in peaceful harmony. The villagers are content to fish, farm, and feast, to obey their nightly curfew, and to do what they're told by the scientists, until, to the horror of the islanders, one of their beloved scientists is found brutally stabbed to death, and then they learn that the murder has triggered a lowering of the security system around the island, the only thing that was keeping the fog at bay. The murder isn't solved within 107 hours. The fog will smother the island and everyone on it. But the security system has also wiped everyone's memories of exactly what happened the night before, which means that someone on the island is a murderer and they don't even know it. So I'm excited to see what he does with this. But yeah, very, very intrigued by that. And so that will be what's up next. Then we got Purple, which is a completely free choice. Always love that. And for this one, before filming this, I did do my rolls for my next rolls for reading, which I've done a couple of them now, and I'm excited to do another one. So this is another placeholder. I do need to listen to the audiobook, so I'll be listening to the audiobook, but I also went ahead and ordered the physical copy because I really like just having a physical copy to hold. So the first book is Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. The second book is Dead Voices. And we're basically following Ollie and Coco and Brian again. And this time it is winter break. And they go up to this cabin. They get snowed in. And the one, I don't remember who it was when I read the synopsis, but one of them keeps seeing like this ghost. And then this ghost hunter shows up. So they're trying to kind of solve the mystery of this ghost while being snowed in. Very excited to continue the series. I really enjoyed Small Spaces. So that will be coming. I already got the audiobook, but I'll have the physical copy by the time I do my wrap up and such with it. Then lastly, we finally made it to the North Pole. So we did get a blue, but because the North Pole again can be any genre. And for this one, we had a bookworm and its favorite or random color. And so I was gonna do like a color generator. I don't always have a favorite color. It kind of just changes and depends on what I'm feeling at any given time. But the colors that were coming up on the generator were just really off putting to me. And I have been really drawn to greens lately. I've been enjoying matcha, so I've been making iced matcha at home, and so I've just been drawn to greens lately. And so for that reason, and again for my purposes, it doesn't have to be like majority of that color. Just have to have that color. And I really am drawn to the overall color scheme of this with the yellows as well, which is the main color. And I'm going to be reading Small Favors by Aaron A. Craig. This is my family's book club pick. And you can see, and this is exactly kind of like the naturey green that I'm drawn to with the leaves and such in the background. That's the exact type of green that I'm drawn to, not like a bright, vibrant green or anything like that. And so, yeah, I'll be reading Small Favors. I saw somebody talking about this. I can't remember who now, and I was just intrigued. And so my husband got me a couple of books, well, 3 books, last month. I gave him a list of books I was interested in, and he went to the store to see what they had. And I told him like these are ones like I'm really interested in. If you can find them, like I really like those are like top of the list. And this was one of them. And so it is really like seems like something I'm gonna love. And so it says the heart's desire always comes with a price. Ellery Downing is waiting for something to happen. Life in isolated Amity Falls, surrounded by an impenetrable forest, has a predictable sameness. Her days are filled with tending to her family's beehives, chasing after her sisters, and dreaming of bigger things, while her twin Samuel is free to roam as he wishes. Early settlers fought off monstrous creatures in the woods, and whispers that the creatures still exist deep in the keep the Downings and their neighbors far from venturing too far. When some townsfolk go missing on a trip to fetch supplies, a heavy unease settles over the falls. As the seasons change, it's clear that something is terribly wrong. The creatures are real, and they're offering to fulfill the residents' deepest desires in return for just a small favor. These seemingly trifle demands, however, hide sinister intentions. Soon Ellery finds herself in a race against time to stop Amity Falls, her family, and the boy she loves from going up in flames. So I'm so excited for this. I originally wasn't on the list for the family book club, but I swapped one of the books out that I told them, I'm like, I'm really interested in reading this. I thought it would make a good book club book to read together. So if you want to, otherwise I'm reading it anyway, but here we are, and they voted for it, so we're gonna be reading this one. Like, I love the yellows as well in here. Like, I'm very drawn to the colors of this cover, so it does work for that prompt. Then I would like to. I finished the Hunger Games trilogy, um, and so I would like to read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I believe it's called. Um, because like I'm not as interested in that one because I don't really like snow, but I do want to read it. I have it, and then I want to get to Hamich's story. And I found that one, I believe, in Little Free Library as well, or at the thrift store. I can't remember both of them, but for super cheap, and they're new releases basically. So I would like to continue that series. I also in May, I just finished this past week, Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerri Maniscalco. I have the next two books coming, so I would like to read the next one in this series as well. Like, I really want to continue that series, but those are extras. Those two were kind of on my radar, and I don't know if they worked for. I don't think they really worked for anything. I could have put it in a free choice, but I had my roll for reads that worked for that one. So yeah, the two extra books that I'm hoping to get on top of the 9 books. Plus, if I do read through the Looking Glass as well, that's technically an extra book, but really I'm just counting it as one book. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm very excited, and I'm excited that I'm able to get what's 1, 2, 3 new purchases. Well, 4 technically, because my husband just bought Small Favors too. New purchases on the list. That's fantastic. I do want to be reading the books I'm bringing into my home. Like, some books, like, I thrift a lot, so some books are more I'm just collecting them, but some books I like new releases, books I'm paying full price for. I want to get those read ASAP. So anyway, I would love to know if you've read any of these, if you're interested in any of these now that I've talked about them a little bit, or a book you're excited about that you have coming up. If you just want to let me know you're here and you're helping to support the channel, you can always leave a rabbit or any type of animal emoji down in the comments below. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.